Hi, my name is Ahad and welcome to my channel. As you may know or you might not know, I have actually bought a Phantom 4 drone and the same night I have crashed it. And I've made a video about it and it's in my playlist. You can go check it out if you want. Anyways, coming down to the broken Phantom 4, this is the one which I had. It took a pretty bad fall. I think I'm guessing about like 300 feet or something, and all the arms was broken and it was not in a shape to fly. So what I did is like I took all the internal components of this drone. I ordered new parts and I have placed in this, and this is the finished product. It flies pretty good. It's back to the factory. This is gonna be a detailed teardown video of Phantom 4, how to take it apart, and how do you replace the motors, how do you replace the landing gear, and then if your gimbal is acting up, how do you troubleshoot it, or how do you replace it with those particular parts. Okay, before you start to dismantle your drone, this is the most important and the basic test, is try putting in the battery and then try to turn it on. The reason why I'm asking you is because when you turn it on, the DJI intro sound is going to be played, like ta-na-na, that's the one, right? The reason I'm asking you to do that is because that sound is not played through a speaker. It's actually your motors are actually vibrating in a different frequency, and in turn the sound is produced. This is basically a self-test what drone does to check whether all the 4 motors are working or not. If they're not, then probably you're gonna get a message in your app. Try looking for the message at the same time. If not, just do this method of like turning on and try to hear the sound and find out which one is broken. So here is the audio, and this is the audio which your drone has to match. So if this sound is exactly the same, then that means all your 4 motors are good and you're all good to go. If not, then probably one of your motors is broken. If you don't hear any sound at all, then there are high chances that all 4 of your motors are broken. Now, opening down the shell is pretty easy. All you have to do is take off the screws, and then you gotta understand, this is the most important part. That is, you have 5 tabs where it's gonna get locked. And you have, in order to release it, you have to press the bottom shell and then it's gonna get released. So I'm gonna show you the 5 different locations where to press the tab and release it. So here it is. Like, first thing is like you have to press the bottom shell. Bottom shell is like the one which the landing gear is getting attached to. That is called the bottom shell. Okay. So I'm gonna just show you how to release it. Just press it down. It opens automatically, and then same goes for the other location. I'm going to show you the locations in a while, but that's how you do it. So you just press it down and then the lock gets unlocked, the clip gets popped. I don't know how to say it, but whatever, I hope you guys understood. Anyways, I'm going to point 5 locations of the major snaps, right? This is one exactly here in the front, and onto the side in the center again. This 2, and the other one is in the same side, the opposite is a 3, and 4 and 5 is here, right here. 4 and 5. Okay, so let's get down to cracking. So now that you know that you need a new shell, so if you order a new shell from Amazon or wherever you want to order, you are gonna get a new set of screws and the plastics, like the plastic lenses right here, where the LED is flashing, and you get all bunch all new screws, and yeah, you get all the new stuff. So you don't have to worry about your screws. If you lose them, it's absolutely okay. So first thing first is you gotta take out the gimbal. So the gimbal screw size is T20 35. So these are the gimbal screws. T25 45 is actually your body screws. M30 55 is the motor screws, and M25 50 is the internal component screws, which I'm going to show you. But if any part of the video, if you have any sort of doubts, just go back to my video, pause, and try to understand. You don't have to mark your screws or whatever. and even if you lose the screws, it's absolutely okay. So after you've done the basic test, take off your props if you have them and disconnect the battery and flip the drone upside down and take off the memory card, please. So once you do it, find the Allen key to crack open the T2035. So there are 8 screws at the bottom of the gimbal assembly. You got to take it out, and these screws tend to slip a lot, like, you know, from your Allen key. So I would suggest you to have an Allen key and like crack it open first, and then you can unscrew it using your precision set screwdriver. Okay, there's one thing I want to point out is that the screws are like slipping a lot. So, and I've reused the screws, so I highly recommend you to not to use the same set of screws. Use the new set of screws which you'll get when you order the new shell. Snap the gimbal a little bit from the corners. It just comes right off. And taking it off, be gentle with it because there are 2 wires which are being attached to the main board. And say this is the front of your drone, then flip your gimbal to the right gently, and you can see there are 2 connectors. That's how the gimbal is connected. Usually there's a metal plate on top of it, but I forgot to put it back when I was doing the rebuild of my Phantom 4 drone. One is a press and release kind of a thing, you know, you just press it and just pull it. The other one is just a press type, so you gently pull it up, it just comes right off. So it's a lot easier, there's nothing to worry about. This is the clip what I'm talking about, is just a press and pull. So all you have to do is like press the top part and gently pull it, it just comes right off. And the other one, right, this one is just a gentle push down clip. So all you have to do is gently lift it up. Once you take off the gimbal, you have 2 mid tabs of your bottom shell which get attached to the main magnesium chassis, which is right inside. They have a Phillips screw, and you just have to use a Phillips screwdriver and then you can just take them out. It's fairly easy, but be careful to not lose those screws because you're not going to get the replacement screws of those when you order a new shell. Okay, once the mid-tab screws are taken out, the metal plate is actually the one which connects the connectors from IMU and the compass. Take a Phillips screwdriver. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So all you have to do is pretty simple. Just take this out. And again, do not lose this plate or the screws because you do not get a replacement for this. Once you take off the plate, you can see the golden tabs. Those are the ones which are getting attached to the main board. Use the tweezers like this. Hold on. Use the tweezers like this. Just pull it out gently. And the order of these wires are pretty important because when you replace them, this is how you have to put them exactly the same way, the same order how they are right now. So the order is black, light gray, and dark gray, and white. I'm repeating the order once again. It's black, light gray, dark gray, and white. So once you've taken all the IMU and the compasses connections, you see the metal straps here, just pull them up. They're just sitting to the body, so you know, so pull them up and keep it like this. So once you've removed this the compasses and the IMU connectors from the main board, you have to take these tabs. They're fairly simple to do it. All you need is like this plastic what I'm using. Just push them down and they just come off. So once you push them down, let me zoom out a little bit. Once you push them down, you just have to pull these tabs back, so this plastic tabs will come out. You have to take off the plastic lenses. All you need is a flathead screwdriver. It just does a simple pop, and you can see they have provided, let me get the contrast, sorry, the aperture. They have provided a hole here for you to just take a flathead screwdriver, just put it in, and then they just pop right out. So it's fairly simple. So there's nothing special about it. So 4 lenses, the lens caps are out. If they're broken, no worries, because when you order a new shell, these are gonna come in the spare parts, and the brand new spare parts. So yeah, you don't have to keep them safe. You can throw them, or if they're damaged, or you can reuse them. It's not a big problem. Anyways, once you take those tabs off, you can see a plastic sticker which is inside of them. You just have to pull it out. I think they work as a reflector. Once you remove these plastic reflectors, you would be revealed with the motor screws. These are the screws which are gonna get connected to the motor. So these are the first ones which you're going to take it out, and of course they're going to be tight, so use an Allen key to crack it open first, and then use your precision set screwdriver to take them out completely. Taking off all the 12 screws from the motor. Now it's time to open the body screws. They take the same screwdriver. I have taken off all the screws. Now it's time to open, split the top shelf and the bottom shelf. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there are 5 snaps which are right. The first one is right here, and the second one is here, and third is here, fourth and fifth. If you have any doubts, go back to the video and see it. By the way, just start prying the top and the bottom body by pulling off from the motors. They're fairly easy to come, but like I said, the bottom, the snaps are right here, so they are the one which are holding the body together. All you have to do is press it down here, and then you can see the gap is being formed. So that's good. So you're not gonna hear any clicks or anything, but as you can see the whole gap, that means the snap is actually off. Now you gotta go to the side. You can choose whichever side you want, but before you do that, try taking off the motors first, and then this one, and then you just press it down and it just comes off. And sometimes you might want to use the prying tool, right? It just helps you a lot. It just pries the snap pretty easily. And then go to the other side. The back ones are the last ones, but we're gonna do the front and the sides first, and then we're gonna go and do the battery compartment snaps. That's what I named them. Comes right off. Now the final 2 snaps, which are sort of pain in the wrong place, because the flex, when you press it down, it's fairly easy to do it here because there's nothing which is obstructing it, but whereas here the magnesium case is obstructing the snap right here. So you gotta be really gentle. At the same time, you gotta be pushing it hard, because if not, it's not gonna come out. So one. Oops, I just pulled the motor out. Do the 2. Yep. So once you have taken care of all the 5 snaps, your bottom frame is a lot easier. Just make sure that these wires which are getting connected to the antennas at the bottom of your leg, at the which are getting connected to the landing gear, make sure that they're free, and then just try gently lifting it up, and then you have to disconnect the front. There are two connectors. They're just press and pull them back. They're fairly simple and straightforward. Once you do that, your bottom part is actually free to come off. So this is the bottom part of the shell, right? If you want to replace the landing gear, you can order them online as well. These are the new ones which I got. As you may know, the shell which you get from Amazon, or if you order it from anywhere, they do not come with the landing gear. You have to order them separate. They are like 30 bucks or something. They do come with their hardware, and they do have the compass and the IMUs built into them, so you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is like try to mount the landing gear to the lower shell, which is fairly straightforward. As you can see, one screw is located way inside right here behind those wires. So you might think it needs some sort of a special tool. No, it doesn't. All it needs is like a screwdriver, and it's fairly simple. You can just straightly put it down and you can take it out. So you do this, it's gonna come out. So it does not have to be straight, going straight in or perpendicular to it. So anyways, so that's how you're gonna get the landing gear fixed to it. And you cannot go wrong with the left and right side of the antennas, because those antennas are like they sit, they're designed to sit on their side itself. I mean, they have some plastic tabs. You cannot go wrong with it. You cannot put a left side to the right one or right side to the left one. And while you're doing this, make sure that you get the wires which are gonna get connected to the board, like through the holes which are provided in them, like from here and here. So that's how you're going to replace the landing gear. It's fairly simple. And second thing is, like, you don't have to worry about snapping off the doors. They do give you the doors which are required to cover this up. I haven't done it yet because I know I'm going to take them off and put it back again. So that's why I didn't put them, because it's really difficult to remove those doors. Let me show you what I'm exactly talking about. So I have a broken, this is the broken drone bottom shell. And the landing gears are really good on this. There's nothing wrong with them, but I just chose to replace them because since they took a hit, I was really not convinced. Anyways, in order to take these doors off, they're really difficult to take them off because you don't want to pry with any sort of a metal object or anything. So all you do is like pull the landing gear, flex it a little bit. You can see that there's it's creating enough gap. So all you have to do is pull it out with your finger, or nail, So all you have to do is pry it to the right and then pull this door off. That's how simple it is. It might look difficult, but it is not, right? Like this. Do not use a metal object on it if you really want to use the old gears. And yeah, it's your call if you want to use your old gear or not. Okay, now that the bottom shell is removed, let me quickly explain you what all the components are here. Focus. Okay, this is the main board and it has got a memory card in it which stores all the firmware, all the data. And this is the ultrasonic sensors, and this is the ultrasonic sensors, and these are the bottom positioning cameras which are actually used to maintain its position. And to the left we have an ESC, a board which controls the motors, and to the right we have a ESC board which controls the right motors. And to the front, this is the main module. This is the main module which it's powered, and this is the power distributor. As you can see, the the big red gauges of the wire which is going, those are the power wires, and it is going to the ESC left and to the ESC right, and then from the ESC right it is coming to the main board. Okay, now that we have taken off the Phantom 4, understood the components, I'm gonna assume that I'm gonna change the top shell as well. So the first thing I have to do is let me zoom in and show you that the LEDs from the motors are actually, you know, kind of like they have a plastic thing melted onto them that's actually like a lock. So all you do is like take a Sharpie or a nice blade, and then you just like shave it off, and then the LEDs would come right off. And one more thing you notice is the motors, hold right there. One more thing you notice is the motors are actually wired like inside, like, you know, the wires run through the outside to the interior. Like if you take a look here, you know, so meaning, you know, if you are taking off the motors, meaning if you want to change the shell, then you have to you know, either cut the wires or desolder the wires and take them off. The video which I've watched to actually replace the top shelf, the guy was actually suggesting to cut the wires and like take the motors off and then take off the whole you know, the main assembly, this whole thing, and then replace it back. And then you just, what you do is like, you know, use a shrinking tube and then connect them back together. But to my luck, you know, all my 4 motors were getting ESC error, so I end up you know, ordering 4 new motors and then like desolder the old wires and then solder this back. So I highly recommend you to desolder these wires and then resolder them back. And trust me, it's fairly very simple to do it. You might, even if you're really not that good with the soldering, it's really easy. Trust me, this is coming from a guy who's really scared with you know, like solderings, and I really hate doing the soldering stuff, but I have managed to do it. It's fairly simple, right? And I'm gonna show you how. That's gonna help you a lot, I guess. Okay, now I'm gonna desolder the wire. It's pretty simple. Before you do that, make sure that these wires, they're sitting onto something, like they're sitting on a groove. Just pull them out, and then all you have to do is take the soldering tip, put it onto the soldering you know, the point, and just like wait there for 2 or 3 seconds. It's eventually gonna melt, and then just gently pull the wire out. It's a lot simple. So what I'm gonna do is like, I'm just gonna put the soldering rod on top of it, and I'm gonna pull the wire. There you go, that's it. Now the wire is out. Now you gotta do all the other wires, and you gotta be careful when you're doing the right side where you have the strip running around. You have to take the strip out. You know, the connections are pretty simple. All you need to do is take this plastic thing out, the tape. Take the plastic tape out, and this exposes the lock for the strip. Once you take off the tape from the connectors, take this one out. Take the one which says ESC right here. You can see it. It's written in pretty small font. It says ESC. Let me zoom in and show you more. Yeah, this says ESC. All you have to do is, there's a black tab right here. Just pull it up, and then you can just pull it back, and this thing comes off. And do the same thing. Take this one out, and in the front you gotta take the power. This one, yeah, you have to do the same thing. You just lift the black tab, pull it out, and then you're good to go. All right. Okay, I'm just desoldering. I mean, I'm taking these wires off. Like I said, just put the tip on top of it, let it melt, and then just gently pull the wire. I have removed all the 3 wires, and the order of the wires is white. White is always at the bottom, gray is in the middle, and the black is always on the top. This is the same order for all the 4 of the motors, right? I'll just quickly show you, like white, gray, black, white, gray, black, white, gray, black. Okay, so that's how you take it out. Once you take off all the 4 motors, then you don't have to take off the LEDs right here. Once you take off all the motors, then you don't have to worry about taking off the LEDs, because you've already taken them off from the plastic part by shaving the plastics on top of the LED board. And the chassis is connected to the top shelf with 4 screws. I would just show you the locations of them so you can use them to take it out. At the back, right next to the positioning camera, there is a screw right here. Right here, you can see it. Yes, there you go. There's a screw. That's 1. The other one is right here. 2. And opposite side, the same places is, if you, I mean, you must have taken this, you would take this tape off, this connection off, in order to desolder this, right? So there's 1 more down here, and then there's 1 right next to the camera here. So 4 screws. Once you take those 4 screws off, you're all good to go. Your chassis comes right off. Okay, once you have removed all the 4 screws, gently lift the chassis up to the front. You would actually see a connection right here, and this is connected to the GPS module, which is sitting on top of the shell right here. So gently lift it up, undo the connection, and then like take the whole chassis off. Once you take the whole chassis off, you would see a gray color shield, which is like, you know, it is actually sticked. It is actually pasted onto the shell. Gently peel it off. Make sure that you do not, like I repeat, do not peel it fast, because it's going to leave the adhesive on the shell itself. We want as much of adhesive back onto the shield, because it's gonna you don't have a replacement shield, you're gonna use the same shield onto the new shell, right? So once you have taken the shield off, there are going to be 3 screws in a small circular GPS module. All you gotta do is unscrew it, bring the module to your front part, like take a new shell, and then use your GPS module. Use the 3 screws, put it back. You cannot go wrong, because the screw pattern, it's gonna sit the way how it is sitting onto the top shell. So there's no way that, you know, you're gonna go wrong with it. So all you have to do is take the GPS module, put it on top of this, and then just screw it with the 3 screws, and then gently and carefully place the GPS shield cover right on top of it. The GPS shield cover has got few holes, like it has got 4 holes, which is gonna match these 4 tabs, right? I mean, there's a hole in the GPS shield which is gonna go in this, and this is gonna pop out, right? So put it back, and then like gently drop the chassis in it. While dropping, make sure that you connect the connector back. Once you do that, all, like, you know, you can screw in all the 4 screws for the chassis and make sure that it's secure and it's tight. Okay, now that you have dropped the chassis with the connection, you have to use a different set of screws. Sorry, not different set of screws. You do not use the same screws which you have taken off, because like I said in the beginning of the video, do not use the same screws. It is highly recommended that, you know, you use the new set of screws, because all of these screws have got the Allen head, and they tend to slip or they just get expanded. So I highly recommend you to use a new set of screws and use 325/45 for getting like this 4 screws in. While you're doing it, I highly recommend you to use an Allen key rather than using your precision set screwdriver, because there is no threads in the plastic place where the screws are going in. So while you're actually tightening it, you're actually creating a thread. So that's why I'm saying an Allen key is highly recommended, because Allen key is like, it won't slip much, whereas your precision screwdriver slips a lot. Okay, once you have screwed all the 4 and your chassis is secured, you're gonna have 3 sets of wires from your motor. You have to solder it back. Now use your soldering rod to solder it back, but make sure the soldering points, where the lead is, it can take good amount of heat, meaning if you do anything wrong, it's absolutely okay, but make sure that do not touch the tip of the soldering rod to the circuits, because it might just melt them. Now for the soldering, make sure that you have a nice setup, where you can rest your hand and work on the soldering, right? So before you do the soldering, first thing first is you gotta clear the lead deposit on top of it. In order to clear it, either you can buy a desoldering wire. All you have to do is, if you have the wire, just put the wire on top of it and put some heat. It's gonna absorb the lead from the soldering point. If you don't have it, no problem. All you have to do is simply scrape the lead from top of the points, like how I'm doing right now. So I just put the soldering rod and I just scrape it, and then it just pulls the lead. And make sure that you just clean the the soldering point, and then come back again, and then you just scrape some more. So after you prep up the soldering points, make sure that you bend the wire, because these wires are a little bit stiff. So before you do that, make sure that you bend the wires and try to place them on the top of the soldering point. And the order is, as I've already told, it's white, gray, and black. So you make sure that the wire is actually sitting on top of it, instead of doing instead of bending or moving out from the point. So all you're doing is trying to put the white wire on top of the soldering point. There's some soldering left, so I'm gonna clean it off. Okay, it's all clean. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna take a little bit of lead and I'm gonna take it onto my soldering tip a little bit first, and then I'm taking the white wire, press it down, okay, it's kind of hard for me to do this without resting my hand, so I'm changing the direction so that I can rest my hand on this. Okay. Voila, that's it. Once you have soldered, it looks like this. And before you could do anything, just try gently pulling the wires. They're all good. Now put them back into the same groove. It's a little bit of time consuming, but you'll get the hang of it after you do. You might find it a little bit difficult to do the first one or two, but once you get used to it, you're gonna go pretty fast. So it might be a little bit of time consuming, but trust me, it's a lot better than chopping the wires and putting a heat shrink tube on it. So once you do all of this, make sure that you put this connector back to the main ESC board, so the main controller from the ESC. So once you put this back, just put the tape right back on it. Before you're trying to put everything back together, I would highly recommend you to take a battery, put it in, try turning it on. Yep, all the 4 motors are working. That's a good sign, meaning that you have done a pretty good job. If any of the 4 motors are creating any sort of a problem, the particular light would be, this will not be blinking yellow and green. Instead, they'll be all red. Now that you have got all the 4 motors, all the 4 motor wires soldered to the ESC, make sure that they are securely, they are properly soldered. Try gently yanking to them, they shouldn't come off, and then make sure that the wires which are coming from the motors are routed really good. They are not in between any plastic components, because they might get sandwiched and they might get pinched. So putting back the bottom shell is fairly easy. You make sure that putting back the bottom shell, make sure that these wires are routed really good, right? I have used a clear tape, a scotch tape, to put them to put them to the wall, to attach them to the wall, right? So make sure that all of these are clear, because these wires have high chances of getting pinched, right? So it's fairly simple. Before you're dropping the bottom shell, you have to connect this back. They are pretty simple to get, they're pretty simple to connect with your fingers, or you can directly connect them. Finally, once you put everything back, the bottom shell, you made sure that there's no wires are being pinched from the motor or the LED strip, and you gotta hear 5 clicks or 5 snaps, especially from here. These are the points you gotta press it, make sure the clip has actually snapped, and these 2 are kind of important. You gotta do press it hard by holding here, and it's all secured. You are gonna use the M30 55. Oh, why is it not focusing? Yeah, M30 55 bolts to screw the motors. I'm gonna put on a screw in all the body bolts, and they use the T2545. There, all the screws are pretty snug. Now I'm gonna do the final tightening using an Allen wrench or Allen key. Put in the center screws. If you could remember, you must have kept these screws pretty safe because they are not, you don't get the spare screws. It's time to put back the IMU wires and the compost wires back, and there is an order. Okay, make sure that these wires are above the steel clamp, and this clamp does not have a screw. This it's gonna get the gimbal is gonna sit on it, and then it's gonna get screwed in, so you don't have to worry about it now. Just bend it back and just keep it at this place. Now it's time to bring the gimbal. So you take the gimbal and bring it from the side, and then first thing, be gentle with these cables and take this just goes snaps. All you have to do is like just push it down and it sits, and the other one is kind of like a slide and snap, to secure the connections. There is a metal plate, so you just place it on top here, and then there are two small screws with which you're going to secure the plate. Slide the gimbal through the landing gear like this, and now that you got the gimbal back in place, just snap it down. Use the new set of screws to screw in the gimbals, and the screw set which you're going to use to screw in the gimbal is T2035. So use the new set of screws. Got the screws. You remember the stickers which you have removed? They've got a nice cutting section, they have a predefined cut to it. So you see the embossed part. All you have to do is like take this part exactly how, just place it down. That's it. Install this caps back, and again the cap has got a predefined cut, or the cap has got a groove which is gonna sit at the embossed part at this area. So snap, connect the remote to the DJI Go app and quickly see if it's throwing any sort of an error. Okay, one more thing. If in case by any chance, if you have screwed up the connections of your gimbal, you would not get the Phantom 4 as your image. It would say Phantom 3. But if you have your gimbal correct and it's connected properly, it would show up as Phantom 4. So hit on the camera. Okay, I'm just going to the the aircraft settings, and it says IMU is warming up, overall status is good, compass is normal, motor ESC status is normal. That is really good because we have desoldered and soldered again. And fly mode, since I'm indoors, it's saying ATI mode at the AT system, calibration vision sensor is normal, and remote control mode is normal, right? So everything seems to be normal. Once it's gonna warm up, I'm just gonna spin the motors using the manual, doing the slide thing. While the aircraft is getting warmed up, few of the things I want to point out. One, once you're done fixing your drone, meaning rebuilding it, go outside, recalibrate your IMU. One. The second thing is do the same thing for the compass, recalibrate it. And then once you're done with both of these things, you gotta recalibrate the forward vision sensors. How do you do that? All you have to do is connect the Phantom 4 to your laptop or a PC with the USB cable and download the DJI Assistant app, and it has got instructions. I'm gonna make a video about how do you calibrate the forward vision sensor, and I'm gonna show you how do you calibrate the bottom positioning sensor, right? It says ready to go. Again, it says it cannot find the GPS because I'm indoors. So I'm just going to spin the motors and check all the 4 motors are spinning. All the 4 motors are good. I'm going to give a little bit of throttle. Okay. All seems to be working good. We have a working Phantom 4. Well, that is it. You have successfully rebuilt the Phantom 4 drone. It is that simple to actually rebuild a drone. You don't have to worry about it. And obviously all you need to do is find the parts, order the parts, and replace them. If you have any trouble finding the parts, do leave a comment or email me. I would help you to find the parts from the websites because I have done tons of research when I was actually trying to fix this bird. So, and the second thing is, if you have any sort of questions, comments, do leave in the comment section. I'm gonna take a look, and I'll definitely reply to help you out if you have any sort of questions about particular sections of how to rebuild it. And if you have any questions, you can definitely request for more videos. I'm definitely gonna make that particular section of video, and I'm gonna upload it so that it will be helpful for you guys to do the whole repairing or the rebuild. Hope this video was helpful to you guys. Whoever is trying to build the Phantom 4, good luck. And if you have any questions, please do leave a comment or send me an email. I would definitely help you out. And if you like my videos, please do hit a like button and hit subscribe. Happy flying. Ciao.